through the eastern wall by way of the New Gate. This modern gate was designed by Sir Walter Tapper and built in 1938. We are now in Pepper Street, which is where in medieval times the spice merchants once lived and worked. Prior to this, the southerly wall of the Roman fortress would have been on the right. Today there are restaurants, shops and the modern indoor Grosvenor shopping. In earlier times it was the townhouse of the wealthy Grosvenor family. As they do today, and as they have done for centuries, they lived on their estate outside the walls. By the 1970s, the builder Thomas Harrison. Building work commenced in 1788, but because it took another 34 years to complete, Harrison built a home here to enable him to supervise the work. Today it houses the Military Museum and the Crown Courts where many famous trials have taken place. Chester's famous... Before racing took place, the area was a sports ground.
So they have the race here.
Centuries ago,
So-
this is where the apprentices of the Craftsmen's
So we
Guilds
can
played
come on
football
there.
and was an inn. And consequently, that's how the racecourse came by the name it's known as today. Here before the present stone bridge was built in the 13th century. To the right is Chester's Weir, which was built in the 11th century by Hugh Lucas, the first Norman earl, who owned the Dean which once stood on the riverbank to the left of the bridge gate ahead. Immediately after the bridge gate and on the left is the Bear and Billet pub. However, in the 19th century, they were heavily restored by the Victorians. The complete decline and closure of the port took place in the 18th century.
I should take a picture with.
Ahead are 3 black and white staircase lofts that were hewn out of solid rock in order to provide the ways and means of lowering barges some 33 feet between the upper canal and the lower canal basin. These lofts, together with the canal basin, were designed by Thomas Telford, the famous engineer. Construction started on the Chester Canal in 1772, but due to financial and engineering difficulties, Chester had to wait another 25 years before it became an important canal port. Just before we go under, it originally led from Northgate Jail on the left to the chapel in the Blue Coat School on the right. Hauntingly, it was built to allow condemned prisoners to travel between the two, to receive their last rites before being sent for execution. Chez Jewel, the modern restaurant to the right, has something of a fiery history. This was originally Chester's purpose-built fire station operating from 1911 to 1971. It then became a court of law, and in 1997 was transformed into the restaurant we see today. Ahead on the right, look out for the magnificent Chester Town Hall. Finally completed in 1869, the 160-foot-tall building was officially opened by the future King Edward VII and cost £40,000 to build. A fine view of the Welsh hills can be seen far away in the distance. The relationship between the Welsh and English hasn't always been as friendly as it is today. In the late 13th century, Edward I made Chester Castle the base for his campaigns in Wales. During the following century, Owain Glyndwr's rebellion put Chester in real danger.
Family names.
Frodsham Street is named after a small Cheshire town, about 9 miles away to the east. In the medieval period, it was known as Cow Lane because the cattle were driven along here to the markets and the slaughterhouses. Excavations nearby have uncovered a large area of hard-beaten clay ground surrounded by earth banks, which suggests there was a Roman parade ground here about 2,000 years ago. Part of the original Roman fortress walls lies behind the shops to the right. At a break in the buildings ahead on the right, note the freestanding bell tower of the cathedral which stands along the city wall. Built in 1974,